I love you.
We're live.
Live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast and it's hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul, and hopefully not coming across like a demon. I did check my mic, but it likes to fuck up. I'm very tired because we're a little bit earlier than usual. So thank you for everyone who's joining in as well. So at our unusual time of 6 p.m., which is ridiculous. This is where people have food and stuff, but now they've got to look at our beautiful faces. And talking about beautiful faces, we've got a very sexy, a very sprightly, a very blonde-tipped ginger, the lovely Captain Goodwill. Now, it's a shame that Captain Goodwill wasn't on last week's episode, because we were giving each other call names.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like I say, Sammy is Reaper, Lee is now known as Tigger, and I am known as
Among
Goonie.
other things.
I am known as the Goonie. Goodwill, if you were a top flight attendant, the best of the best, what would your name be?
If I was a top flight attendant,
Yes.
Is that how shit I am at Top Gun?
Yes.
Yeah, you get to be the attendant.
You serve the drinks, bitch.
Attendant.
Yes.
Okay.
Glass.
The exits for the fighter plane are here, here, and fucking here. So,
Go on then. Have you got a name?
my call sign, if I was a flight attendant, I don't know. Call sign Messy Tray.
Messy Tray. Striking fear in the heart of all them deviants. Yes. But like I say, I'll call him one, and we'll not make any more reference to this. We'll call him Deadeye. That sort of thing. He is the Deadeye.
I'm not a pop. I'm not a pop.
Deadeye.
Deadeye? Yes.
Oh, I like that. You sound hard as fuck. I wouldn't want to mess with you.
Hang on. Is this because I'm like partially blind in one eye? This is quite offensive.
Good.
Oh, shut up.
I feel targeted.
We all feel targeted from you, Goodwill.
I feel seen, Paul. Okay.
Well, I feel triggered now, Goodwill. You have triggered my anxiety.
Oh, football shit.
Boys, behave.
Yes.
Behave. I just want to say before we start kicking off this episode to thank everyone for last night. I had the best. Oh, hello there. I had the best birthday with the bestest people. And Donna, I have my cup. I have my cup out today. So cup, mug, what got
It's a drinking utensil.
Drinking utensil. I have it. I am so happy. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Oh, God, I hope Kelly's not in the chat. She'll be freaking out now, bless her. Rogue
Kelly
apostrophe be damned.
Kelly did win a magnificent teapot last night. And if you look on one of her posts, she did do a story of Phyllis getting home.
Yes, like the Phyllis the teapot, yes. My wife won a teapot as well.
She was leaving with that teapot.
Yeah, she was fighting people for this teapot. She actually bullied a little girl last night as well, because she told the little girl to stop bidding on it because she was going to take it home, and I was like, oh fuck. But yes. So do you want to get the disclaimer out the way there, Sammy? Yes, but
oh yeah,
yes,
I will. So. Everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page or the Discord or the comment section or where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Very well said by our lovely Sammy, who had turned 46 yesterday, so very happy birthday and very many happy returns for our beautiful
It's the fact that you
46.
told someone I was 51 and they almost believed you. Like, you cheeky bastard, take 10 years off that, please.
But to be fair, though, someone did say, you look very good for 51, so...
The person who we saw in the restaurant went, I wouldn't have put you down at that age at all. I was like, because I'm fucking not.
Yes.
You keep telling yourself that, love.
Yes.
Fucking feel it today, though. Really did feel it today.
Because, let's be honest, Sammy was a dirty stop out last night. She, like I say, normally the normal person our age goes home at a respectable time. No, Sammy stays out till 1:30. She is becoming the party animal of Nerdy Up North.
I'm not going to lie. I thought when you were going to say dirty stop out, she was like, she stayed out until 10:30.
That's my usual going home time.
I was like, that's pretty fucking late for me.
That is my usual going home time is around about 8, 9 o'clock ish.
You have to go get curtains drawn.
Yeah, but last night it was, I think, 1:45, 1 o'clock we finally got in.
Yes.
But it was just a case of like every 2 minutes, just one more drink, and then we'll go. And that one more drink just kept topping up and topping up.
Yes.
But it was a fun night.
Yes, and thank you everyone who took part in the Nerdy Up North quiz.
Yeah.
Our second one. First one went well. Last night was even better. We raised, Graham raised over £400 for his charities, which is absolutely amazing. We did finish second in the quiz. The Screen Queens did okay because there was a ringer. I'm telling you what, I'm going to put a formal complaint in as well because Graham's roommate. So the guy who picked the questions finished first, and he only got 3 questions wrong. I smelled skullduggery against this. Yes.
I mean, I would have been very bitter if I was very bitter that we didn't win because I really, really wanted the mug. It had the Monsters logo on it. And then I got presented with my own mug, and so I'm gonna wait off until Monsters to reveal the mug.
Yes.
Even though if you want to go on my Instagram, it's on there. I'm just saying.
And saw numerous pictures of Sammy's feet. Just to get more subscribers. You never know.
Is that why she's got 300,000 followers?
Yes. Sammy'sFeet.com.
My feet did it.
Yes. The feet did it. Well, it wasn't Richard Kimbo. It was his feet.
Tootsie's up north.
Tootsie's up north. I love that.
Yeah.
Before we get into the movie, I have the tagline. It's only one tagline.
Right. Okay.
So not multiple taglines. So I'm kind of thinking this is a top tier movie in the Rotten Tomatoes score. This got 95%. So I'm reckoning the higher the Rotten Tomatoes score, the less taglines that they need to promote this movie.
To be fair, this was Harrison Ford at his prime as well. So to be fair,
and
this is the Lamborghini of movies. And why do I say that? Because you never see an advert for a Lamborghini.
Well, the tagline is a murdered wife, a one-armed man, an obsessed detective. The chase begins. A one-armed man.
That's very similar to how they used to tag the original TV series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only just learned it was a TV series today. Didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, really did not know that.
Yeah.
No.
This was the remake, the first remake of The Fugitive. Dr. Richard Kimball is our wanted man. And it was just, the one-armed man.
The one-armed man. Yeah, I did not know that until today because I was having a read thinking, should I get? Because I really enjoyed my note taken from last week's episode. I had a shitload, but there's not a great deal when it comes to the background and the making of it. Was like a lot of things were improv. You know, they had this amount of time to do things, but nothing that went, oh shit, I need to make sure I remember that. And then I was like, and it was like, this is from a TV show. I was like, oh, what now?
Well, I remember like when we were discussing the movies we were going to pick, or like for the blockbuster season, you basically went, I want to do The Fugitive. This is my number one pick for anyone's, which I kind of took me a little bit aside because when I was younger, and again, don't judge me too hard at this, The Fugitive kind of passed me by a little bit. I didn't have the love of The Fugitive as, like, when we said to Goodwill, this is what we're doing. He was like, fuck yeah, I want to be on this one. If you don't come on this one, I'm going to go on strike and throw dirty pants at everyone. I was like, okay, Goodwill, you can come on the podcast. We're not going to, you don't need a dirty protest tonight. But yes,
bold of you to assume I wear pants, but go ahead.
But that would have been more like a monkey throwing shit. But yes, that's fine.
Oh, man, knee poop talk, man. I'm a bit delicate today.
But watching it back today, I fully understand and fully get like the love of this movie. It is like, say, one of the things I think at the time, and I know, like, I made the comment just a few moments ago about, like, the 90s was the season for basically Harrison Ford and action movies. Like, I think at the time there was that many Harrison Ford action movies that was coming out. It was hard. It was kind of easy to get lost in the shuffle because, as you said, you had like Air Force One, Clear and Present Danger, the one like very similar to this one where he framed his wife for the killing and stuff like that. There was, I think it was called Witness. That rings a bell. But yes, there was so many Harrison Ford movies coming about around about that time. This one, I think, with it being probably the most advertised, I didn't really gravitate towards this one. And again, I know that on the advertisements they focused a lot on one of the main action scenes, which was the train bit. So
yeah,
that kind of never got to us. And probably when I watched it when I was younger, I didn't get the whole mystery part, because the mystery for this movie is done a lot more differently than other movies. It basically normally it builds up to like the killing, and then you work out like the whodunit. At the start, it's kind of implied the murder, and then you're trying to put the pieces together. Then because you're watching the film and there's no bad guy till the last part in the movie. That's really quite interesting, and like now it kind of blew me head a little bit.
I totally get that. I didn't watch this growing up, which is not a shock for anyone, let's be honest. But the reason I wanted to do this one today was not only because it was my birthday, my pick, basically, and it's also Harrison Ford's birthday. I share a birthday with Harrison Ford, and I was like, that's perfect. But this movie, I only watched it a couple of years ago, and it absolutely like got me. You know that feeling of you can't, it was you move along with it, so your whole body is like up, down, you just can't keep still, you're cheering, you're crying. I don't think I cried in it, but you like, you know what, all your emotions they come out. You don't just sit back and like get me for 1 hour kind of thing. No, I was absolutely gripped, and it was all for one person, and it wasn't Harrison Ford, it was Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
And then the week after we watched US Marshals, because I could literally watch him and his team alone, because it was his team, it wasn't just Tommy Lee, it was him and his team. I could watch them on so many adventures. You could take them into anywhere and I would follow them, because that was a team I wanted to be a part of.
There was a lot of talk after US Marshals that this could well have legs, but the film landscape as it was, it just never really went any further. The Fugitive for me is the very definition of a remake done right and improved upon. They harken back to the original TV series from the 1960s, the flashback at the beginning of Paul's wife's murder, but also just it's the same story distilled into a movie, but improved upon immeasurably. And it's a fine example of going, here is the original source material, let's improve upon it in our own way. And they do it right. And I remember seeing this in the late 90s. We had it on VHS. And I saw US Marshals first.
Right.
And I absolutely loved it, because the chemistry of Sam's team was just, it was the best. Like Sammy said, you could watch them on multiple adventures because they just gel so well, but they get shit done.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to my mum, I was like, "This is fantastic." She was like, "Oh well, you're gonna absolutely love The Fugitive." And we watched The Fugitive later on, and it was brilliant. I mean, as a 10, 11-year-old watching this, it was full of action, it was full of suspense. It had just Tommy Lee Jones being Tommy Lee Jones at the time, where it's just like, I don't care. Like, he just doesn't give a shit. But he's one of those, I am in charge. I don't give a shit what you think because I am always in charge. And he was just brilliant. And the way he just the way that they carried out the investigation, they were so driven to hunt Richard Kimball, and how easily they could pull the bullshit apart from other people. Like when we see the prison ward, where he's just like, "Do you want to change your bullshit story again, son?" Because they don't give a shit. They are not there for like the bones of it. They are there because there is someone on the loose and they have to catch them. But this was just full of. It wasn't. There's one huge action scene. But this is a film about tiny little moments of suspense, of danger, of anticipation, and they just do it so fucking well all the way through the movie. Like the staircase scene where Kimball's going down one and then Gerard's going down the other, and it's just a passing glance, and it's stuff like that. And you're like, "Oh my god, is he gonna see it?" And it's stuff like that, and it's nail biting all the way through. I mean, I watched it today for the first time in a couple of years.
And how did you watch it, Goodwill?
Well, because I got rid of a load of DVDs 3 months ago, right? This was one of them, because I went, it's on a streaming service. It's Warner Brothers. It's going to be anywhere. Nope. Absolutely. You could buy it on Apple TV Plus for $7.99. But two things. One, I don't have $7.99. Two, I detest Apple TV Plus. So no. So I was like, right, okay, CEX. No fucking DVD in a 50-mile radius. I was like, right, you have forced my hand, internet. Dodgy up north.
Dodgy up north, yes.
Yeah.
It was a Blu-ray riff. But
I don't think they've done a 4K version of this yet.
No.
I
don't think it needs it.
I don't think it needs it. I think there's certain movies that need to stay with almost the way they came out,
like gritty,
and
have that.
You don't need to crisp this one up. It's not needed.
The thing is, though, when it's set and where it's set, you need that dirty grittiness in it. And obviously, if it's up-res, you sort of lose the magic with certain things.
Oh, 100%. I don't need to see strings and shit like that, because you will see them. If you're not meant to see it, the 4K is going to make you see it.
But this is a film like I said, I haven't seen it for a couple of years, but when I watched it today, I was still full of suspense. I know what's going to happen. But it's those tiny little moments. Oh, there he is, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, the one thing I really love about this movie is the opening scene, is the opening setup, because instantly, as a viewer, you know he's innocent.
But to be fair, though, with that scene, I think it's been replicated and copied by every single crime American TV show afterwards.
Columbo.
SVU's probably done it a fair few times.
That's especially heinous.
Yeah. I think David Diagnosis Murder's probably done a few couple of years of there. Coming in, saving the day.
Guys in the chat, how many people want to diagnose this murder episode?
Guys in the chat, how many people know what diagnosed murder is?
Yeah.
We don't care.
Prove your age. No, but I love the fact that you know instantly he's an innocent man.
To be fair, though,
because that changes
because I've broken Goodwill who diagnosed as murder there. So.
But it changes, the opening changes the gameplay of the movie itself. Because like you said earlier, it's not a typical setup.
No.
It's instantly we know he's innocent.
Yeah.
But I know in what I read from the TV show is that the opening was is the same, but it leaves parts out to make it you think, oh shit, could he have done it?
Yeah.
But that they didn't do that with this one.
The TV series, because it was very much, I believe it was Quinn Martin production. So it was very like The Fugitive, Act 1, Peril on the Train Track, and then Act 2, and then The Fugitive, Epilogue, and then it always ended the same way. Dr. Richard Kimball, a wanted man, a fugitive on the run. And that's how it always ended. With this movie, they did that, well, obviously without the voice, but they did that where you just basically see he is a someone who has been charged for a crime he didn't commit. And they do it in the most awful way, because you know he's innocent. He knows he's innocent, but you see a systematic failing of the criminal justice system against this man.
Them fucking detectives. What a bunch of fucking idiots. What was it? We found his prints all over the crime scene. Mate, it's his fucking house.
But do you know,
of course you're gonna find his prints all over it.
I know we take the piss, like saying, oh, but the scary thing is when you watch these real life American documentaries about like crimes and like the first 48 hours and stuff like that, they don't give a fuck about like shall we say the truth. All they think about is getting a collar or closing the case. So
it's a number.
I can totally understand where that, like say, element comes from. But again, I know we probably will be jumping about because it is one of those films where there's just so many key things. But one thing I wanted to talk about before we start getting into the movie as well is the cast. Because I think with a movie like this, because it is very pared back, suspenseful driven, it is living and dying on the cast and like the people in it. Like Harrison Ford, as Sammy said, he's not the most thing that draws you to this film. But
no, he's not.
The one thing he does make you do is care, and that's like one of the key things that what could have went so wrong with this movie. Because if we didn't give a shit about, like say, Richard Kimball,
what's the point?
What's the point of even going with that journey?
The best part about it for Harrison Ford is you're thinking he's in an action film. It's Harrison Ford, it's Indiana Jones, it's Han Solo. This is a completely different acting style for him. He actually doesn't kill anyone in here.
No.
He's kind. He's a kind person. There's no arrogance in him, there's no bullshit in him. You can actually hear what he's saying when he's talking. It's like this is a different side to Harrison Ford, and this is half the reason this movie gets the praise that it does is because they've given him an action film without actually putting him as an action star.
There's a vulnerability to him as well,
massively.
It's a case of we he's an action hero, but the action in this film is clever, suspenseful. It is methodically done, and you just see the whole action here is how he goes about solving the murder of his wife, and how he can do that. Sneaking around the hospital, how he adapts to his environment, how he changes his hair, how he gets clothes, do you know what I mean? Like the way he methodically evades being caught. I mean, I say methodically, then he jumps out of a dam.
Yeah, he does do some silly stuff, but his doctor friend said, "You're not going to find him because he's too clever." And he was, and it was such a refreshing change to see Harrison Ford not being your typical douchey, arsehole action star that we have seen him do many times before.
And Solo in this.
and also his dictation on things was brilliant. You could clear, because he does have a tendency to mumble. But he in this,
because
there's always with clear,
crystal. There's a rules he's legendary for that he always always get the kudos for. But then there's the rules where he performs. This was one of the ones he performs in, and he performs music. Like, I would put this, and again, this is me being giving it high praise. I would put this up with Decker in Blade Runner, because he performs in Blade Runner. You get every single facet of Harrison Ford in Blade Runner. You get like the action star, you get the angry star, you get the vulnerability, because he gets his ass kicked a lot in that movie. And in this one, you see someone determined, someone broken, someone, I think, but again, not just Harrison Ford. I know we'll go into Tommy Lee Jones in a second, but like the bit part players, like Julianne Moore plays a great as.
I cannot remember who Julianne Moore is in this film. I was like, where is she? I know that
she's the nurse or the doctor.
She was a nurse, I believe. Yeah.
Something happened with the studio. They didn't want her. Right. Or something along those lines. Hence the reason why a lot of us, she's not in it a great deal. Right. Her part was actually a lot bigger than what it was meant to be. But I was like, why can't I remember the Julianne Moore's in this film? Jane Lynch.
Yes,
being in it. I know Jane Lynch is only in it for a few minutes, but it's Jane Lynch.
Yeah,
she's doing it wrong in my eyes.
No, and that was the strong part of this film, because if someone had been convicted of killing the wife, like the one thing, I know it sounds bad, but your friends would turn on you, and the fact that his friends didn't,
good to know,
the friends didn't turn on him and kind of stuck by him and like was supporting him as well, shows you what kind of character that Richard Kimball was. But like I said, Jane Lynch was great. I know she was only in it a small bit, so but you only got like flashbacks. But Sella Ward, Helen Kimball, actually the performance, because you believed how in love they were and what say a great couple they were. So that why made you even more angry that he was getting like framed for this killer. But then you got even like the detectives. The detectives were so annoying and so on blindside, but the performances were so well. You got angry because like they just wanted a thing. And then the guy, then the one-armed man, like you would think, oh, one-armed man being scary, fuck off. When he was terrifying, he was literally terrifying.
Yeah, he was a creepy motherfucker.
Well, I mean, the film, as I mentioned earlier, the film shows the failure of the criminal justice system, but then it also shows the redemption and the strength of the criminal justice system, where you see that the marshals, their singular focus is capturing Richard Kimball and what was the other one? Coleman, the other one that escaped.
Yes.
But then we see, you know, they question why he is doing what he is doing, and then they conduct their own investigation into everything that's going on, and they put the pieces together, and then they pull up the bullshit of the CPD, where, you know, they didn't fully do a deep investigation. They just believed it was Richard Kimball. They'd got their man. They did what, unfortunately, some police departments in America do, where they just not bully you, but they just drill and drill and drill until you just break down and you confess.
It's been done 100 times over before, and it'll continue being done. But because they can do it, they are allowed it. It's not unlawful for them to do it the way that they do it. It's just morally fucking wrong.
Questionable.
But it's interesting you're saying with the US Marshal team, because as you said, their driving focus was just bringing the men home. And again, the famous line, which we'll go into, but the investigation changes when Harrison Ford's Richard Kimball doesn't act or fit the patterns for what a guilty man would do in these type of situations. Like he goes back to where, like say, he would be the most recognized person there, and he starts doing things, and that makes them think, does a guilty man or a man who's desperate do these type of things, or is it an innocent man trying to prove, or not even an innocent man, shall we say, a man who's had his world taken away from him and just wanting the people who's did that to come to justice, because he had plenty of opportunity to like take his revenge as well through this movie. And it wasn't a revenge movie. It was literally just basically to get the wrongs that the justice system.
Justice.
Yeah. See, do you know what? I understand the whole seeking justice, but I think it's more how much he loved his wife. He can't have anyone, regardless if it's the justice system or not, believe he could do this to her.
No,
that's the crux of it. It's I don't think he would have cared. Under any of the circumstances, I think he would have taken his punishment as he would, but it's his wife. It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's the passion that he has for his wife is evident in the small scenes that we have with them, like at the fundraising gala.
Yeah, that was magic. I actually got goosebumps watching that now.
Yeah, where he interjects in the conversation with the two gentlemen, and he's like, excuse me, gentlemen, and she's just like, thank you. I was down to one more joke, and it's just like.
But it's from the very start of that scene, he is beelining for her.
Oh yeah.
And everyone gets in his way, and he just pushes past. All he's doing is just pushing through the crowd to get to her. To be fair, she's the most important thing.
I get that as well, because that would be my scenario if Goodwill was across the room to me and people were just surrounding him and not letting me at my Goodwill. I would have to just part the sea of nerds to bring Goodwill into my arms. Dick Van Dyke can't save you from me, Goodwill. Do not worry about that. Angela Lansbury on the other side.
You motherfucker, get out of my head. I was just about to say that.
Right, chat, diagnosis murder she wrote.
Well, we could combine a whole murder, like a murderous kind of.
Bigger cigar.
we could do Murder Mystery Week.
That really weird one called Monk.
I fucking love Monk.
Oh, Ant loves Monk.
It's weird. I enjoyed it, but it's weird.
No, I love it. You shut your handsome face before I kiss it.
Yes.
Ant loves Monk. See, I'm an SVU Law and Order girl, so I go for the really fucking gritty shit. Not the nice and fluffy murder.
Criminal justice system.
It's like
Sam is considered especially heinous.
When I was a kid,
her stories.
I remember them as what was it? When I was off school sick or anything like that, you used to watch daytime TV, and that used to be the daytime TV shit that used to be on all the time.
What, Law and Order?
No, Columbo.
I was going to say.
Hey, no, Sammy, Law and Order comes on during the day.
No.
Hey, used to tell you. I'll be working from home. And all I could hear is me nana listening to fucking 5 Action, and you'd be sat there 11:30 in the morning. Dun 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 dun.
See, the youth of today were spoiled because they got that kind of stuff replaced with Jeremy Kyle. I don't know. Where did we go wrong in the society?
It's all right. We cancelled him. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone to radio now. No one followed him there.
But yes, Richard Kimball. He did not kill his wife. Yes.
Nobody cared.
No, nobody cared. But the set pieces, as you pointed out, it's an action movie with very little action in, but it does take you on the roller coaster. And with anyone knows, a good roller coaster doesn't always bash out like rolls and spins and big drops all the way through. There's got to be a build. There's got to be, like, as you said, the first part is the big one with the train. And like that whole build up with the train is just so well done and so well orchestrated. Then the next big set piece is the dam, which
I thought you were about a roller coaster when you were building it up higher and higher.
Yeah, high and high. And he jumps off.
So we get to the tip, and then we roll back.
And then we go back.
Anyway.
The train, can we just go back to the train for a second? One shot.
Yep.
One shot. Could only do it in one shot. Only had the capability, couldn't really put the train back together and blow it back up again. So literally one shot.
Yes. That was part, I think it was part practical, part special effects. Because I know I've seen like how they did it like in the past. It was basically like Harrison Ford, the stunt double, not Harrison Ford, jumping off and landing on the bags and stuff, and then they kind of superposed in. But they did actually use a train hitting a bus for that action shot, though, which again, these days they wouldn't do that because it would cost a fuck ton of money and probably cause a lot more problems. But the spectacle of it looked fucking amazing. And it's always great when you get the ones where, because as you said, with movie magic, like the sensual part of Harrison Ford going through that window, the sensible way of Harrison Ford getting out that window made no fucking sense.
No, but it does to me, where he puts his arms up to use that as weight to his upper body strength.
Have you tried climbing through something that way?
No, but if you want us to, I'll give it a go.
It's the hardest way to get through like a small area like that, where you put your hands and feet and you're kind of birthing yourself through.
But I don't want to be wiggling out of anything.
Well, let's not forget his feet are chained.
Yes.
So he has limited mobility. So he's only got like that much width to expand his feet. So when you try and get out, you would obviously put one leg out first, but he has to put both legs and he can't get the purchase. So he's having to essentially move so much weight out in a hurry. So he does. You would do whatever embarrassing move possible to get out.
I would go through head first. I would be like diving, like even if like say half your body got through, you can then use your weight to kind of like spin out.
I don't want to be wriggling out.
I just want to see Paul be yeeted out of a bus now.
Tell you what. Well, like I said, I'll see what I can do. I'll try and get a video and I'll put it on the page of me diving through something and then me trying to crawl out the Richard Kimball way and see which way is the more sensible way to do it.
We'll do the Fugitive experiment with just Paul and a small gap.
Yes. I'm contacting Go Northeast now to see if we can lend a bus for reasons.
For reasons.
For reasons. Not telling you.
There's got to be a burnt out car somewhere. So
yeah. Oh, actually, probably around mine. Yeah. I live in a dodgy area, so I live near a dodgy area.
Lee, can we use your Duke for us?
I was just going to say that clapped out piece of shit. I was just about to say that. But we shouldn't say that because when we've been in Lee's car, he treats us like kings and queens. Bless him. Right. He's great.
Yes, but we'll do it fairly as well. We'll tie my legs up, so we'll do my ankles. We're not getting Donna involved because this will be too kinky if Donna gets involved with ties up and stuff like that.
Donna will literally bring chains.
Yeah,
she knows all the fucking maritime. Not she does. She'll have you on a bloody half Windsor and everything like that.
Half Windsor.
We're just saying that Donna's a very good sailor. Shall we say?
Yes, that's it.
Treat you
Donna
like a fucking sail.
I like the fucking sail. Hey, can I have a sail, please?
A half mast.
Donna did mention in the comments about the dickhead cop.
Yes.
And Mike brought him up earlier. What a twat. Saying he saved that guy when he absolutely just, I'm out of here. No, I'm not having this. That infuriated me. And then he's going, oh, well, you would have done it for me. So I tried to do it for you.
But see, but what I love is instantly it's turned on him. And then Gerard just sits down and just in front of everyone and this is what I love about Tommy Lee Jones and the way he portrays Gerard. He will look dead in your fucking eyes and pull your bullshit story apart.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care who you are, where you are, or how many people are around you. And that's what I love about that scene where he's just like, he's going on about the story, and then next thing we see the chains. And he's just like, well, what do we have here? You want to rename your bullshit story again, sir? And he just does it, and it's brilliant the way he's able to just break down like that wall.
And I love the way Tommy Lee Jones plays this character as well, because he doesn't really change his outlook or his. I'm trying to put the way he comes across. It's the same way he is with every single person. He treats them all the same, and he
treats his team no differently.
Yeah. The only time you see a difference in him is at the end when he's in the car with Richard.
Yeah.
Because he's very much, as you said, the most bloody-minded person. Like, he knows what he needs to do. He's probably done a million of these cases in the past. He's probably like, because everyone's escaping out of the American jail system because it was so easy to do. So he's probably had all these cases, went on manhunts and dealt with so many different things, and he treats even his superiors were in the car on the phone after he's shot the first guy thing, and he's just like, well, I didn't want one of mine to be gone, so you can put it on me, and he puts the phone down.
Yeah, he's like, if you can tell him I did it, kind of thing.
When I kind of disagree,
right?
In the way that he treats people, because he treats Newman like his son.
Right.
Yeah. Is that the guy who...
The one with the ponytail.
Yeah.
We have... This is a dysfunctional, functional team.
Yeah.
And those are the best teams to be in because they have instant chemistry, and it's almost like a telepathic link with one another. They all know what they need to do, they get it done, but they still argue, they still have their own unique Cosmo, where he's just like, shit, I just bought these shoes, shut up. And it's just that type of thing. But with Newman is the rookie in this film.
He's a baby.
And we get the scene where they're going after Coleman, and Gerard shoots Coleman, and it wings Newman, and you can actually see in the jacket. What I love, before I get into that, but what I loved before is when they're approaching the house and he goes to Newman, "Shh, be drunker."
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, no problem. But it's the way that Gerard is so committed to getting his man, and he knows how to get his man, that he snuck around and he shot Coleman, winging Newman. And Newman is obviously, he's got the ring in his ear from the gunshot, and he goes, you could have missed. And we see this scene where, like, he could have berated him, he could have treated him like he treats anyone else, but with Newman, he's a little bit more gentle, and he's just a little bit more softer with him. And he goes, let me have a look at the ear. Can you hear me? What does he say? Like, I never bargain. I never bargain. But we then see with Newman where he just wraps him up in another coat to keep him warm. And then there's another scene where Newman is doing some investigation and he provides information to Gerard over the phone. And we just see how this fatherly figure comes out of Tommy Lee, where he's just like, "Good work, son. Don't let him give me shit about your ponytail."
Yeah.
And it's just
I love
that fatherly, but not overly loving, but it's like, he's assertive, he is the boss, he is fatherly, but he is not like overly, do you know what I mean? It's there, but it's never discussed.
I love that scene though, with them two outside and he's saying my ears ringing, and you could have missed. Why wouldn't you bargain with him? Why wouldn't? And it's almost like him not saying I wouldn't bargain, but I never miss. That's the real answer he's given him. But I love that scene, especially when he gets right close up to him and he's like, "Can you hear this?"
When he's going to the woman who's a stalker, he's just shot her boyfriend and she's a stalker, and he just points a gun, he just goes, "Shut up," and he just walks away.
This is why Tommy Lee is the fucking best in this film.
Well, there's so many good aspects to this movie as well.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Goodwill. What were you going to say?
No, it's the ad-libbing that they do all the way through.
So much.
Like the whole L train thing, where they're like, how many cities have got L trains? And he's just like, how do you know it's an L train? And then right at the end, he's like, see, I told you it was an L train. It's that sort of...
It's this... So what I read is that they had a script, and Tommy Lee looked over the script and it wasn't a case of reading it and going, "Oh, that sounds shit." It was when it was played out.
Yeah.
So the director went, "Here's a pen. Change it."
Yeah.
Change it. It was another film where it was a case of, these people now well enough. You change it. You talk the way that you think he would talk. So him and Harrison Ford did exactly that. They went through and to be honest, the majority of it was thrown out the window because they just ended up doing ad-lib throughout the majority of the movie. I think there's another big scene as well, like dialogue scene, where he ad-libbed the majority of it because he's just that fucking good.
The thing is, though, with Harrison Ford in this film as well, the scenes what you remember is not the scenes where he's talking. It's where he's kind of being shifty or moving around, and he sees more stuff with his eyes. Like, it's absolutely breathtaking where the hospital's having that crisis, and like he notices the young boy on the stretcher, and you could see him being so uncomfortable that he knew he is the one to help that kid.
Yeah, it's like he's dying to jump in.
It's like the moral dilemma as well. It's like, fuck, do I expose myself and potentially curtail this investigation he's doing, save a young man's life?
It's the inherent, the inherent way that Richard Kimball is. We know he's innocent.
Yeah,
we know he's on the run. However, he is so dedicated to the Hippocratic Oath and being a doctor and helping people that he literally cannot go without, if he sees a wrong, he cannot go without righting it. And this is why The Fugitive was so popular in the 60s, where it was essentially this, but it would go from town to town. So he was hunting for the one-armed man, and he would travel from town to town, righting the wrongs in that town whilst being chased.
So he was like the littlest hobo as version.
No.
Yeah, it's like Knight Rider, but with a stethoscope.
Yes,
but it's that's his nature, and that's why it perplexes the marshals, because why is he not running? Well, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? And that's where you see Kitty.
I'm sorry, he's been really needy.
I've got views on Richard Kimball. But it's that nature.
He's really ticked off. Binks has pinched his seat, because on a podcast night he'll come and sit in the other seat next to us, and Binks is already there, so he doesn't know where to go. Sorry.
It's fine. But yes, as you were saying, Goodwill, it's an interesting take. And again, sometimes when you see people in these movies do things like that, you want to scream at the telly saying, "Why are you doing this? It's the most stupid thing." But it makes sense. You get that why he's doing it. It would be more out of character if he walked away and didn't help. So it's one of those tropes that actually works better in this movie than it would in any others.
Absolutely.
But put it this way, right? He was sentenced to death.
Yes.
Yeah, he was getting the death penalty. He was going to be
executed by lethal injection. So he, in this movie, has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He is given a second chance, not a redemption, because he doesn't care what happens to him. No. He gets a second chance at redemption to find who really murdered his wife. That is his singular drive throughout this movie. It is not, I want to escape death row, I don't want to...
Oh, yeah, that's not even a factor.
Literally, his singular goal is to find who killed his wife.
Yeah, because he makes that... It's so... When he was on the phone to his lawyer and he was like, "This isn't a good look," and he went, "At the moment, I'm not really looking. I'm not bothered with how this looks anymore. This is not what it's about." That was So you kind of get that aspect straight away, that it's not basically about his life anymore, and that's why you go on the journey and you wanted to do.
All the Dowling mysteries.
Dear me.
Oh my gosh.
It's already been mentioned.
I've just read something there that in real life, if this actually happened, Richard Kimball would not be walking as a free man by any stretch. No. He'd be done for robbery, identity fraud.
Yeah.
he'd be done for so many things. But the likelihood is his lawyer would be able to go on the defense that he was trying to save his life.
But that's the thing. How they would have done, because America all being about the money type thing, probably the police department or the Chicago Police Department would have said, "Okay, we'll look away at these charges. Just don't sue us for the wrongful imprisonment and for the fact that we want to kill you."
Always money. Always money.
But this is why. And we won't discuss it, but this is why the film ends where it ends.
Yes.
Because you couldn't drag this out. It had to end at that situation there, because otherwise you get bogged down in that.
You have to assume. Yeah. You have to assume he got what he needed, what he wanted. Because you're right, we don't need to go through.
No.
Well, did he? Didn't he?
No. I think that as a filmmaker showed quite a lot of restraint by doing it that way, because a lot of people, let's be honest, especially during like the 80s and 90s, we might not have seen the scenes afterwards, but there would have been like the black screen writing, Richard Kimball was like all charges were dropped, blah blah blah. The one-armed man
was exonerated.
The one-armed man served such and such. The evil.
It wouldn't play. It wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. And do you know what? I don't need to know. I'm happy in the fact that he drove off with Tommy Lee Jones, and I know in my heart of all hearts, Tommy Lee would have done what he could. Like, what's Tommy Lee's character called? Sam.
Sam Gerard.
Gerard, that's it. He would have done everything in his power to make sure the truth came out.
The thing is, though, what we have to take away is that Richard Kimball's life ended when his wife died.
It did,
His life was over. So whatever happens to him after these events doesn't matter because his singular goal was to get justice for his wife, to find out who really killed his wife. He achieved that, and that's it. That is where the film ends. And there is no need to go into any further detail because sadly his life is over because he doesn't have Mrs. Kimball anymore.
Yeah, but look at the bigger picture as well. And again, one thing that did hit home me when rewatching it today, how many lives he did save as well by exposing the corporation, like, because that was the big, like, spoilers, the big twist.
31 years old. Spoilers.
Spoilers. Well, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. Chris said in the chat he's not seen it. The big corporation is the pharmaceutical companies are bad. It's all about money, and basically they were basically doctoring, like, say, the stats and these new tablets that were supposed to be no side effects except from deteriorating your liver and reducing your life expectancy by exponentially amounts. And then he exposed
they were damaging the livers. Yeah.
So he exposed that so that drug probably wouldn't ever get on the market now, or in the movie, saving countless lives and stuff as well, which, again, like, I know, as I said, his life ended when he lost his wife, but that's quite a legacy for Richard Kimball to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Like I say, not just basically finding out his wife's killer, but the fact that he was an excellent surgeon and saved so many lives as well. So again, if I'm playing in my head and like what happens next for him, fair enough, he'll probably have some dark times, some hard years, but I think he would go on and create, like I say, like what a lot of doctors do, like a foundation in his wife's name and creating like a thing. So again,
something that our legacy continues on. I honestly thought they would mention him in U.S. Marshals. I was gutted they didn't. But then I understood it had nothing to do with that. So it was like,
glad they didn't.
Wasn't that because that wasn't a direct sequel, though, was it? It was hinted
at. A spin-off.
Yes.
It was just another adventure. It could have come before, it could have come after. It didn't matter. You were just in it for another case, and I love that team so much.
The US Marshals was a product of Warner Brothers focus groups where they take this movie and then they take it to screeners and then go, what do you like the most out of this film? So they would have done with every movie. You get something called screeners where they get an audience in and they test it. If you're in wherever movies like LA or something like that or Canada, they'll even get you out off the street. They'll have people outside the cinema going, do you want to see a movie? And they won't tell you what it is until you're actually in, and you have to sign an NDA and all that bullshit. And then what they would do, they would ask you a series of questions after the movie, either on paper or just like, hands up or anything like that. And this was an example of, we loved Sam Gerard and his team. They had a great dynamic and everything like that. And I think they cottoned on, and we got the sequel a few years, because this was not a direct, this was not like the next year, this was a couple of years down the line. And then we got US Marshals, which for me, controversially, I like more than The Fugitive.
Right.
Okay. I am kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because we see it was lightning in a bottle with The Fugitive and this team. They then expanded the team and they developed it a lot more, and they had a lot more time to be fleshed out in US Marshals. And there was spoilers, do you know what I mean? There were certain things that happened and stuff like that. But that team deserved easily 2 or 3 more movies, or 2 more
just
movies.
Something.
Just because they have that great dynamic. They could have gone all the way across the country dealing with these people because they are experts. It'd be like like a Die Hard but US Marshals, where they're literally across the country. They're going across the country, and there's but look at it: train crash, plane crash, right? And then I know, Delaware milk truck. Do you know? Just whatever. And it's just. But it would have been brilliant because their services, because they're Chicago based, but their services are needed in New York. Their services are needed in Los Angeles and stuff like that, because they have caught these, like they have successfully tracked down these notable people. Although
it could be even international as well. Like
but,
say, like there's international terrorist event.
They could have gone. To be honest, they could have gone anywhere because they were just such a fantastic team. Magnum PI. I know it originally. Cosmo was meant to be killed off in the original script.
Yeah.
So he was going to die in The Fugitive, and what's his name? Joe. How do you pronounce it, Michael? Pantoliano.
Joe Pantoliano.
Yes.
Pantoliano. Oh, I love that man so much. He has some of the most quotable lines in every movie he does.
Is he in Bad Boys?
Yes, he's
the
captain.
He's the chief. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. He's in The Goonies. He's a Fratelli brother. He's in The Sopranos. He's in The Matrix.
In Sopranos, he's absolutely horrible. But I think that's the performances he does. He is either really, really likable, or you detest him to the bone, where you think, like in The Sopranos, he is one of the most hideous people you've ever met.
From what I've heard, my sister will always, because we quote a lot from The Matrix, and The Goonies is from his characters. Actually, it's not his character in The Matrix; it's the one talking to him. It's a purr moment. Right. Have you ever heard of a purr moment in movies? Because hey, you what was it? You son of a bitch! You're still gonna burn. That's a purr moment that goes into his character.
So that's a new
one. But yeah, he was gonna.
No.
Well, in a sense,
it's similar though, isn't it?
In a sense, but he was gonna die in the final of the film, and he lobbied the director to be like, please don't do this. Please don't do this, because he knew how special the team was. He knew it was going to get a sequel, and years later, he was absolutely right, because he wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it's one of them things. Normally, you like a little bit of risk, and again, and that sounds a bit bloodthirsty. To show that little risk, it's always good to have one of the main or like team become incapacitated or die, because it then ratchets up the risk factor, especially in an action movie, because this is still classed as an action movie, but. One of the things I think this movie sets itself apart from other action movies, especially in the 90s, because remember, in the 90s, this was the decade of the big blockbusters, the big bangs, the big showcase things. This was like Independence Day and stuff like that.
This was the golden era, like the second golden era. The 80s and 90s was the second golden era for motion pictures, I'd say.
Especially, like, say, on the landscape, where in the 80s was... Like, in my eyes, again, tell us to fuck off, was the era for storytelling. The 90s was the era for visual spectacular, where everything had a look amazing thing, where the Fugitive kind of bucked the trend a little bit. Like, yes, it looked visually stimulating, but it was more focused on the burn, the anticipation, the keeping you there, guessing the what known. And again, a lot of movies do this, but don't do as well. It's the tease, like the scene where Harrison Ford's got that apartment downstairs, and the police kind of swarm it because the guy who's basically renting off the woman who's renting off the son, has been doing illicit things with children. We never know what, but again, and he looked like the type.
Drugs, they say.
Drugs, yes.
Yeah.
He was selling drugs to kids. Yes. That's what he was doing.
Yes. I think to riff off that, Paul, there is action sequences in this. I don't disagree. What this film does brilliantly, and what US Marshals does brilliantly, and some films in the 90s really nailed it, especially in the early 90s. It nails the atmosphere of the location. It nails. You look at Illinois, and this is Illinois in March. You look at that film and go, I can feel how bitingly cold it is in that area. Like you look at when he's in the river, and you can feel how cold he is. Like you can get that sensation when they're going through Chicago on St. Patrick's Day, and you see the sights, the sounds, but it's the atmosphere that they build in the movie.
Mhm.
It's nothing big, it's nothing flash. It's just this is a living, breathing city that this
Yeah.
situation is taking part in. And in this movie, I watched it in surround sound downstairs, and it was just you could hear sights,
Everything.
sounds, bells, cars, sirens, people talking, and it was just when the way they do it when he's in the parade, and they use I mean, the sound direction is perfect because they use ambient sound and visual cinematography to make him blend into the parade and disappear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you almost feel for Gerard when he's looking, because he literally goes into this parade with hundreds and hundreds of people and he just disappears. He puts on a hat, walks away, and then he's gone. And it just he vanishes. And all you hear, you don't hear Gerard going fuck or anything like that. You just hear the music, the sound,
and then this is often. But that part as well is so beautifully done. Just as you said, it's because the way I would describe this movie, it's like a cat and mouse. It's very much like one person.
Oh, it's Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry to a degree, except from.
Can we paraphrase? Can we paraphrase that old TV promotion in America? Sam Gerard and Richard Kimball play a dangerous game of cat and mouse.
Moose. The parade scene. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just about to say, because with the cat and mouse element there, and Goodwill, you said it perfectly with in blending in, because in that type of environment, you expect it to be roles adverse, because you expect Richard Kimball to be panicked, not knowing what to do, and like just running off in all different directions. But again, he's focused. He's thinking, and he thinks outside the box. He's like, right, if I just start panicking and being opposite what everyone else is doing in this area, like, fair enough, it's very nice that there's a parade going on during the escape scene, so it's very lucky movie magic there. But then you've got Tommy Lee Jones going, shit, he's getting away, and he's getting a bit more frantic, like jumping up and down, looking in like places where he could hide, and all. Like, say, Harrison Ford's character's good, right? I've got a green hat. I'll put that over my head. I'll walk down. I'll make myself look small, right? I've got
Change
the
coat,
take the coat off.
Yeah.
Then looking out. Then again, I'll stay with the crowd to the point where it doesn't look suspicious if I just drift off. And then, and again, it was so well acted and well produced, and like as you said with the sound, it was so amazingly done. And again, just to touch on the sound as well, because we talked about a movie last week that used sound and music completely differently to what sound and music was used in this movie.
100%.
But again, telling the story in similar ways, where Top Gun's music is like moving this movie on with like the soundtrack. This one, I wouldn't be able to tell you a single song in this movie, but I can tell you how I felt during certain moments because of the sound effects and the sounds that was in the music.
Yeah, it's a score to dictate your emotions. What I was going to say about the parade scene, you have praised it so much. It is such a testament to Harrison Ford. That is completely improvised. He wasn't given any direction. He wasn't told what to do. Him and Tommy Lee, and this is how amazingly they work together. And bearing in mind, they only have 4 scenes together throughout the whole entire movie. This is how amazing their chemistry was. They knew what to do. They knew exactly, without even giving too much direction to each other. They just went in and went, we're going to play this out. And what you get is them remarkably doing it. So brilliant. There's no direction in there.
Yeah.
And that is such a testament to the actors and to Harrison Ford, because he really gets a lot of shit. But we all think of him as, Han Solo. But he does get a lot of shit for his performances. Even though 6 Days and 7 Nights is one of my favourite films of Harrison Ford. And I'll fucking fight yous if yous come for us over it. I think it's great. I think it's great. Chris also made a point. Would you say we're in the era of remakes and TV shows now? And I totally fucking agree with that statement.
We have been for the last 15 years, though.
Yeah.
And I think it's been. We started with remakes where they were just like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this and it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be an alternate universe, and everyone's just like, oh. And then they've sort of come around to, why remake when we can continue? And then we see the continuation. So, like, in TV and movies, you see a continuation of, Star Trek.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll challenge that one a little bit. We're not in the era of the remake stuff. We're in the era of not taking risks.
Yes, I
lazy
absolutely agree.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
It's lazy Hollywood. It's
I don't even think it's lazy. It's scared.
Oh.
It's fear. It's the
they
scared
are
to make
terrified.
a film. I'm scared of making a film that doesn't do well initially. Like in the
Yeah,
80s, they would make a film and go, "Oh shit, we didn't do well in the cinema." They then blew it away in VHS and sales and stuff like that.
Well, that's it. That's it. That was when we did Event Horizon. The director showed his movie, his final cut of Event Horizon, to Kurt Russell, who was his best friend, and Kurt Russell went, "Mate, not going to do well." But in 20 years' time, it's going to be fucking everyone's going to fucking love it. So they knew, even John Carpenter knew on the thing that his movie was not going to do great, but he wanted to put his movie out.
Yeah.
And then it does fantastic. It's got one of the biggest cult followings going.
Big Trouble in Little China.
There's so many, because they weren't. These were passion projects. You don't have passion projects anymore. You just have what's going to make the most money. And then we can make more money off of.
Yeah. So I wasn't like shouting you down saying lazy Hollywood, but I think that's a tagline that a lot of people do use towards it. I do think it's more of a fear aspect now.
There's a fear aspect, especially when it comes to legacy franchises as well, such as Star Wars, Star Trek, and etc., where there are people who are knowledgeable, passionate, and experienced enough that they could come in and go, I can do this. I could move the franchise into the next era that the fans will love it. We saw it partly with The Mandalorian, when The Mandalorian first came out. And then we saw it with Star Trek last year, where you had a dedicated hardcore fan who knew what to do, had the experience, had the talent to move it. And everyone was like, this is brilliant. This is what it should be. And then you have the ones where they are given the keys to the car, but they are so terrified of making massive changes, or changes that they then are fully responsible for the next 5, 10, 15 years, that they then make these minor changes which turn out to be rather shit. And then you look at, for an example, if you look at the book of Boba Fett, how long did we want something with Boba Fett?
You're right.
From the early 80s all the way up to when it was announced, we wanted something with Boba Fett. We finally get it, and they were so terrified of taking a risk, because this was a much loved legacy character, that they essentially turned it into The Mandalorian season 3.
2.3. 2.5.
But then you got these things, these scenes, mopeds in it, and everyone's just like, the fuck is this? But then you look at The Fugitive, where it was a much loved series from the 60s, and they were like, we're going to turn it into a movie, and we are going to do it this way, and we are going to make it clever, we are going to make it tense and suspenseful, and they nailed it. And
they did.
The 80s and the 90s were the last eras where the big risks were taken, but it was taken by people who had the talent. And unfortunately, what we are seeing now is people are given the keys to these franchises, or these IPs, and they just do not have what it takes to do something special with them. And then if that's the case, what you need to do, and this is like an insider tip for you.
Listen closely.
Create something original.
Yes.
But
yes.
At the same time, I'll give it, because I've spent years slagging this genre off because it's been unoriginal, giving us the same thing every time. But recently, over the last few years, horror has been taking the lead with a lot of original content, or a lot of original.
I agree.
But that's because of platforms like Shudder coming out and giving like say independent. Like if you look at recently, I know it's the Renfield film. It's again not an original idea, but it's again given a different spin, and having, as I said, like the balls to say, right, we'll cast Nicolas Cage as Dracula was another win. The film Smile, even though it did get its critics, it's an original idea and creepy as fuck. It is one of the most haunting things. Then you get, like, say, Late Night with the Devil.
That was the one I was going to bring up.
I
was the
love
one I
that
was going to
film.
bring up.
I love it.
You are absolutely right, because horror is such a stickler for let's just jump on a bandwagon and just fucking ride that until it is absolutely dry.
Mickey Mouse.
They're not doing it now. They give not now. I'm not saying it'll never not happen again, because it's horror, and they're very notoriously famous for doing that. But there is some really original ideas coming out of horror, which is so fucking refreshing. We're not getting another Jason movie. We're not even getting a Jason TV series. Like, get in, let it make space for something else, because that's all it's doing is taking up space.
What it is, and this is what's exciting. We are in the era. Yes, we're in the era where Hollywood is becoming stale. It is becoming terrified. It's got massive franchise fatigue in Marvel, in DC, in Star Wars, in any franchise at the moment. What we are seeing, thanks to these multi-platform services, we are seeing the rise of the indies, where they are coming in with these original low-budget ideas. And movie fans, cinephiles, they are all gravitating towards them because, I could waste 2 hours watching another Marvel movie, or I could sit in front of Tubi. I could sit in front of what's the horror one? I can never remember.
Shudder.
Shudder. I could sit in front of Shudder, and I can watch this original low budget that everyone is like, have you seen this? This is brilliant. And like, just it's a cult. You know, it's this is good, but it's good by word of mouth. It's good because the reviewers, the trusted reviewers on the internet, that are going and saying it's not as bad as you think. You need to give this your own shot. And I will fucking defend it to the hilt. Our review of The Munsters was one of the best, balanced, fairest reviews of a film that we have ever done, because we all went in and went, oh shit, it's
what are we getting ourselves in for?
Who's his wife playing? And then we all watched it and we went,
actually we actually sat there and kind of like, who's gonna go first and say we don't mind this film?
So we are seeing where these low independent studios, these independent filmmakers, they can go out with a phone and a balancing gimbal or anything like that, and a little connected microphone, and make these movies. And like I said, the interview with the devil, I can't forget the name's forgetting me.
I know.
Night with the Devil, right? That is very low budget. It is thing to be a 70s chat show. It's not done really well, but if you see past that, it's brilliant. Because it's got the original creativity. It's an original idea to do this. And we are seeing that, and I really, really hope we see more genres taking this on board, because the low budget, I mean, Violent Night with David Harbour. That is an indie film.
I know how much you love that film.
It is just Die Hard with Santa Claus, right? Yes, it's a rip.
Home Alone.
And a pinch of Home Alone.
But it's low budget. Yes, the blood is CGI. I don't care. It is fun. It is on my regular Christmas list now, and they are making a sequel. And I am over the moon.
Like they're supposed to be like different universes in the same thing, but
look at Michael. He looks so excited. Bless him.
But the rise of these indie filmmakers, where they are coming in, and
we brought this up as well during the Great Outdoors episode. We talked about the 80s movies. We haven't seen, like, if you look back to the 80s, you couldn't like go to a video store or the cinema without seeing a comedy, like not a special effects laden thing, a comedy movie that didn't stand like John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, or literally there was a million of them, and I am so thankful that they are out there. You go now and you think, I want to see a comedy movie at the cinema. Like
is there one?
The Fall Guy was the last one.
The last one was probably the Fall Guy that I can remember. Yeah. I know there's the Hitman on YouTube, which is not YouTube, Netflix, which has got the guy out of the new Twisters movie. It's kind of like a dark comedy where he's playing a police informant that is pretending to be a hitman to entrap people. And again, it's done in laughs, but it's not like an all-out stupid comedy type thing where you've got like Dan Aykroyd being a conehead and stuff like that, or like as we did a few weeks ago, Wayne's World. Like we've not had a balls-out laugh comedy like where you go in the 80s or in the early 90s. You couldn't get a film without seeing anything like that, and that's always a little bit sad that people or movie studios aren't thinking. And again, there's a lot of source material. There's a lot of old TV shows. As you said, Fall Guy was an old TV show, and again, it was played for laughs.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm. The $1 Million Man.
The $1 Million Man.
We can rebuild.
It was Lee Majors. Yeah, Lee Majors.
Lee Majors. Yeah. Sorry, so for Scrooged.
But Chris raised a good question in the chat there. Is this because of profit margins? Yes and no. It is profit margin, very much profit margin, especially for the likes of Netflix, the WB, Disney, whatever. With Netflix, I mean, Paul says we barely see comedy movies. We get them, but we get really, really, really shit comedy movies. But then we see, Netflix has I believe the last time I checked, it was a $65 million deal with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
But
then Adam Sandler decided, because one of his reviews for his movies was so bad, he decided, okay, I'm not going to care. I'm just going to see if I can get worse reviews. I think the last movie he tried on was Murder Mystery with Jennifer Aniston, which is an actual good movie.
He is the greatest con man in Hollywood at the moment, because he has been able to get Netflix to give him $65 million a year to produce movies. He gives all of his friends starring roles. He gives them a huge chunk of the profits as well. And then they get to go to tropical locations in the Caribbean, in Hawaii, in all these places. And then they can just make a really shit movie out of there for 2-3 months, and then edit it and then knock it out by the end of the year. They don't care about the reviews. Netflix do not give a shit about reviews. It's about how many people watch it. And let's be honest, the people reviewing it are the ones clicking on it, are the ones watching it all the way through. So they don't give a shit. And you get two sides of Hollywood. You get the mill, which is very it's very referential to the 30s, 40s, and 50s, where there was hundreds of movies being churned out a week in Hollywood. That that's why it was called the golden era. You had brilliant movies, but you could walk into LA and get a job in the movie industry.
Absolutely.
So we're getting two sides to it. We're getting the Hollywood factory, where we need to make $22 trillion on this film, otherwise it's a failure.
Because otherwise we can't continue on, kind of thing.
And then you get the anti-movement, where it's just, we are an independent company. All I need is $300,000 and I can make a movie that visually is like, you can tell it's $300,000, but it's got an excellent story to it.
Yeah.
And we are seeing that it's almost like a rebellion against corporate Hollywood, where
it is.
They are just like, we can make movies better than you for a fraction of the cost. And what we are seeing is that cinephiles and moviegoers, they are gravitating towards that, because out of everything, out of all the spectacle, and this is why I'm linking it to The Fugitive, you could have all the spectacle in a movie and go, explosions. But it's the story that people absorb the most. And this is why The Fugitive works, because it's got very little action, but it's all about the suspense. It's all about finding out who the killer is. And it's all about the motives of Richard Kimball and the drive to find his wife's killer. And the sooner Hollywood realizes this, which I don't think they will, the better.
They won't.
But horror is really leading the charge.
Yeah, it really is, and it's really refreshing to see it. But don't get us wrong, I am not opposed to a Hollywood blockbuster that we would get today.
Yeah.
I just would like to see some balance. What I don't want to see is on my Facebook page, Death Becomes Her is being remade. I don't want to see that. I don't.
There is
What
no
was
originality. Yeah.
No, exactly. And that's where my comment of that's where my comment of lazy Hollywood come up, because when I'm seeing things being, we're doing this, we're going to read it. It's really not just about Death Becomes Her, because that is a perfect movie. It does not need anyone else doing it again. That's what really gets us annoyed. But I do like some, like, I'm really looking forward to seeing the new Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
And I know that is like a commercial, part of a franchise, but
the people
I want to see some balance.
Yeah. The people at the helm of the Deadpool movie, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So the people at the helm know the material, know what they want, very importantly, know what the fans want, but not like, I'm going to appease the fans in everything. They know what the fans want, and they know what will piss off the fans, and they are teetering that line between both.
Yeah.
And
I do think this is going to be, again, people can tell us that I'm talking shit. The Deadpool movie, I know it's got like a lot of people either in one camp or the other. This is going to teach Marvel a little bit of a lesson, because at the moment, as everyone said, Marvel is a bit stale at the moment when it comes to things. I know I had my little rant the other day when they released the new Captain America trailer, which the trailer looked fine, and I was excited for it until they put an extra shot in at the end. I was like, I don't want to see that in a trailer. I
haven't watched it. I have actually stayed away from it, but I'm guessing from the poster alone, I have an idea of what it is. Harrison Ford as well, kind of links with what we're talking about. I'm staying away from it. I am now starting to stay away from trailers, which I never thought, given that that's what I used to do, be a trailer reactor, I can't watch them anymore.
It's really interesting, and I sort of, it's really interesting that, Sammy, you say that, because more and more people are steering away from trailers, because the way the trailers are cut these days, they literally put the meat of the movie in it.
I'll never forget Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I adopted this year, where I have not watched movie trailers, TV trailers, or game trailers. I know what's coming out, and I'm excited for them, but I don't want to see, because I want to be able to experience the piece of media for the first time. Everything for the first time. Like the new Assassin's Creed game is coming out this year. It's set in Japan. Brilliant. I don't want to see one goddamn second of it, because I want to go in with fresh eyes. I want to experience it as it is. Like when a new bit of series come out, Star Wars. I have not seen one thing of The Acolyte. I've yet to see The Acolyte. Some say it's good, some say it's bad.
Sorry, I didn't mean. I meant just good that you've not seen anything in relation to it, because there are some fucked up opinions about that TV show. Go in it but by yourself with a clear head is what I meant. Sorry.
I like to go in now. It's a great way to live your life, guys. Honestly,
I'm getting there, Michael. I really am.
Just to use it as the example for this, to lead us back to The Fugitive. For example, if they did the Fugitive trailer, like what they've just done with, like say Captain America 4, it is 4, yeah. It's basically they've put a clip in at the end exposing a really big like character that's going to be in it. So basically, if they did the Fugitive trailer now, and they put in, like say the twist is that it's his doctor friend who was hiring the killer, they'll be like at the end going, "Ha, it's me." It's like, oh, you just give that twist out, or something that I would have experienced in the movie. And again, people in the Facebook group was a bit confusing. Oh, I was really happy to see it. My point is, yes, I'm really happy I've seen it, but how much happier would I have been watching the movie and going, fuck yeah, that person is in it now.
I totally get that. It was when Civil War came out, and we knew we were getting the battle scene between the two sides, but that was it. I had no idea that Ant-Man was going to go giant. I fucking lost my shit in the cinema. Like, I know it's not a significant thing, but I read a lot of Ant-Man after the first one came out, because I was like, oh shit, he's actually quite a cool character. And to see him go giant was huge for me.
Yeah.
So the fact that I didn't see that in the trailer meant the world when it actually happened.
I put it to you, right? I know exactly, because I've put together trailers quite a lot. I know exactly how The Fugitive would go, right? You would have the WB logo, and it would fade to black, and you would have that percussive dum, and then you would hear frantic breath. You would hear water. You would hear running water. You would hear footsteps in water. Splash, 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 dum. And then another one. Frantically, we see a man running. We see a grey fleece. We see someone struggling, looking behind. We don't know who it is. Bam. We then see another man running after that other man. It's a different person. He doesn't have a grey. He has a black coat on. He's running. Dum. You see the second man fall. He loses his gun. Another man picks up the gun. And then we see Harrison Ford going, I didn't kill my wife. And then all we see is the other man going, I don't care. And then that's how the trailer would start. So the most iconic part of the film
has been
ruined in the first 30 seconds of the trailer because they've gone, oh, this is a good dramatic suspense.
Up until that point, I was actually gripped with everything that you were saying. And then I realised where you were going.
Yeah.
But the thing
that's how they do it.
Yeah, but the master of the trailer, and again, I know I blow smoke up his arse so much because he is my favourite director of all time, Steven Spielberg. Like I say, when you think about the movies he's done in the past, Jaws, you never saw the shark or never seen anything like it was famously in the trailer, or even the promotional stuff other than the poster, you never saw the shark. Jurassic Park, when that trailer came out, you saw the T-Rex's feet. You never saw the T-Rex's head or anything.
Or the scope of what you were going to be seeing.
Yeah. So it was always, like, say, them type of elements and the things that kind of got you intrigued. It's like the tease.
Yeah.
But as I said, with like one thing I wanted to mention about The Fugitive before, like I said, we do start wrapping up as well. The parodies that followed after this movie, like literally every single like major pop culture thing, like The Simpsons did it amazingly.
Millhouse. I don't want to go back. I don't care. I did just.
One of my favorite like bits is Scrubs, where
that's all I mentioned today.
when the janitor's like JD's watching The Fugitive and he sees like basically the actor who plays the janitor in it going, kibble, and like rather than just saying, oh, like that's weird, he's like trying to get the backstory of the janitor and saying, look, we wanted you to have more in your life than you wanted to be an actor. Like, it's okay to be a failed actor, not making it like thing. And then he's like,
I remember that episode now. You've just said that,
and it's just absolutely breathtakingly brilliant. But it's like that's how much this film influenced in pop culture, that it ebbs and ways in all these different things, like all the different send-ups. Like, I know it's probably been in, or the whole jumping off the dam has been done so many times. Like Jay and Silent Bob did it as well, which is done so well with Suzanne the monkey surviving.
But like you said with Harrison Ford, this was a period in the 90s where Harrison Ford was in a lot of movies, and then obviously Family Guy was just like, it's like Harrison Ford in a movie where he's looking for his wife or trying to save his wife, and he's just like running down the street like,
have you seen my wife?
Have you seen my wife? And then he gets to the Labrador. I need to find my wife, and the Labrador's just like,
and I remember that episode.
Yeah.
Have you seen my wife?
But it influenced pop culture, but not to like a massive extent. Like, people who watched the movie got it, and it was done so sort of like when another Simpsons skit where Homer is running with the little what is it? Is it the when he's in prison and they're going to the drive-through, and Wiggum's just like, I just can't get over, and he's just like, he leans over. And then the van crushes, and then the van gets hit, and you just see Homer just like running away like that.
But one thing I did want to look at as well, like I know I talked about the parody, sorry, because because I know we did hint at being it's, as you said, it's classed as an action movie, but it's a slow burn action movie. But if you look at like the action movies that came out around this time as well, this was completely different to like some of the big movies. Like think of like Total Recall, Last Action Hero,
Oh my
like
God.
Twister, and stuff
Jurassic
like that.
Park. It's the same year as this.
Yeah.
What year?
1993.
93. Oh.
Total Recall. I mean, the early 90s was like that massive transition between 80s movies to big spectacle movies.
I love that time period, though. They are some of the best movies to watch, especially for someone who's never seen them before, and watching them in our 40s when she can understand it.
I'm going to see what this competed with in '93. So I'm just going to put myself on mute because I've got a loud keyboard.
Yeah, thank you. I've got a really sore head tonight, and I don't. At least he was kind enough to say, "I'm going to put myself on mute." Lee just bashes away on his keyboard.
Oh, starts rattling on his tablets.
Oh yeah,
with the gerbil. This Armageddon on. This competed with, holy shit, absolute giant, Falling Down.
Yeah.
Running Cool, Fire in the Sky, Striking Distance, the Bruce Willis I'm on a Boat with Sarah Jessica Parker, you know, the foot with legs.
That was the little red killer, yeah.
Little Red Riding Hood killer,
yes, I remember that.
Robin Hood Men in Tights, Loaded Weapon 1, The Last Action Hero, Hot Shots Part 2,
Demolition Man?
Demolition Man, Pelican Brief, Wayne's World 2.
Yeah.
And Eddie came
So
yeah.
So Tommy Lee Jones said to the cast, "Come on, guys, we're not going to win any awards for this. Like, let's just do this." It was nominated for 7 Oscars.
Yeah,
it lost out because of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So it was, but I actually have the highest gross. Damn you, Tom Hanks! But I have the highest grossing films of 1993. Right. You mentioned number 10. You mentioned was The Pelican Brief. Number 9. And number 9, which shocks me actually, it was Philadelphia.
Right.
Number 8 was Sleepless in Seattle. Number 7 was Cliffhanger. Love that film. 6, Indecent Proposal. Number 5.
So, Gilbert, if I offered you £1 million to sleep with me,
would you?
You gave me a tenner and a twist.
I was going to say a tenner and a toffee crisp.
It was
not even a double decker. Not even a double decker.
Not even a double decker.
I'll double deck you.
Number 5 was The Firm.
Right.
The
Firm doesn't get as much credit as it does as well.
No, it doesn't, and it's such a good film. Yeah. So the top 4 is an interesting bunch. 4, Schindler's List. 3, The Fugitive.
Right.
2, Mrs. Doubtfire. And number 1, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So that tells me in America they respect dinosaurs more
than the Holocaust.
Wrongly Wow, I wasn't going to go there. I was going to say
wrongly. Well, I'm just going to say it as it is. It's what the film's about. But that's what the film's about.
Does not endorse or.
Absolutely not. But that's what the film's about.
Yes. But we'll not mention the adult parody Schindler's Fist, but go on.
Oh God! Right. Okay. That's such an interesting list of movies for '93, though.
But that's again, it's where I know I keep banging on. It's why the '80s kind of finished, and the '90s start creeping in, where risks were still being taken. If you look at, like, say, the big films or like what I think, where they were still doing small budget or, let's face it, seeing if there's a decent book that they could turn into a movie back then, because a lot of them were, like, say, based on books or
English Patience, Pelican Brief,
like especially the crime novel side. Even Stephen King, if like the 90s was good for like the King novels as well. If you think about like the Green Mile and stuff like that, the Green Mile was in the 90s, wasn't it? Oh.
It was that case of
wasn't
it? It was.
I think so.
It was the thing of what do you call it? They were still taking the risks, but it was in an era of massive technological advancement, so they were taking risks and experimenting with the new technology as well.
Yeah.
So they weren't just like, oh, we'll just replace it with CGI. They were like, we can use CGI as an addition to this movie, not wholly rely on it. Which we see, I don't think there is any. If there is CGI, I think it's at the train part. But it's very, very like basically used. But they
certainly didn't use CGI for the dam shot, because that wasn't a real person jumping off. That was the most stiffest dummy I've seen jump off the dam.
Off the dam.
Yeah, but you couldn't throw Harrison Ford off, could you?
We could try. Like say Star Wars did a few things.
Harrison, there's weed down there. Fuck me.
I'm coming.
Harrison, just pretend there's a
swan diving.
There's a Wookiee coming after you, it's Harrison.
Oh my God. Maybe we should start wrapping this up, because something is about to happen very shortly, and I want to order food before it happens.
You might be luck, because there was.
I'm from Shiny Roll. Do you think that they're not going to put takeaways before football?
No, that's just what people's been ordering. I think someone said earlier that they ordered something. They said they couldn't do anything deliveries after 8 o'clock. It's all fully booked. So fingers crossed for you there.
I don't know what's happening. I'm just having Rocky 3 on ITV4. Right, okay, I understand.
Yes. We're just going to go on the Discord and see Chris do a dance in his boxer shorts.
Is that going to happen?
Oh, Mamma Mia! On at 7:55. Don't mind it. Oh, fuck off! Warehouse 13. I'm on that. Anyway, go on.
Do you know what? If I struggle for food, I actually have a Chinese direct, just literally there. I can walk over and get food. I'm cool.
Oh, you need treats of beige. You need to.
Oh, tell us about it. Like, I just want my favorite pizza, and I don't want to tell anyone what it is.
Do you know what I want at the moment? Turkey dinosaurs.
I know.
Oh my God, turkey dinosaurs!
I know Sammy's favorite pizza, guys. Do you want us to tell you?
It's so boring.
Crust.
She loves a chip pizza.
Yep.
She likes chips.
Northern.
Yes.
I love chips.
Chips.
As we established yesterday, I really, really love chips.
It's Sunday. It is the day of the chip.
And you know what, Michael? I'm going for stuffed crust too.
You saucy devil, you.
Absolutely doing it. Yeah. So before we go, actually, I just want to acknowledge. I want to acknowledge. I don't know if you actually care, but lost 2 great people over the weekend. The legendary Richard Simmons on my birthday. That was very, very sad. Top-notch guy. And also today, sadly, lost Shannon Doherty. I'm really sorry if I said her name wrong. I struggled with the pronunciation of the second name, but really, really sad. I just wanted to acknowledge that before we go, because it's it's a shitter. It's not nice, and I'm sorry to end it on a sad note, but I just felt it needed to be acknowledged.
It's quite a nice one. Like Shannon Doherty was always like heartbreaking.
I've just texted you asking what pizza you want. Sorry.
To celebrate, though,
I really have.
Not a lot of people probably know who Richard Simmons is. He was the US Mr. Motivator.
Yeah, and he was
to celebrate. To celebrate him, I urge everyone to YouTube after this show the Whose Line Is It Anyway episode where he special guest as himself. It is the funniest 20 minutes in television history. I have never seen an audience actually crying and pissing themselves. They do this in this episode because of Richard Simmons.
He was such a sweetheart. I was watching videos today of when the buses that they have in Los Angeles that go up to famous people's houses, and the driver went, "This is Richard Simmons' house. Just wait a minute," and he comes booling down the steps. Oh, it's here, and he just wants to stand and talk with everyone. Pull up, get on the drive, come on the drive. But yeah, he was such a sweetheart. He just radiates light, and Shannon is just Oh, God. Unfortunately, it was something that was going to happen sooner. Because of how aggressive her second round of cancer was, but my goodness, she has left an absolute impact in pop culture. She is part of one of the biggest American teen programs that will ever exist. She is part of the Kevin Smith universe.
Yeah.
She is part of the Charmed universe. She is a Heather. Rest in peace.
No, definitely. And like I say, thank you for everything that she gave us as well, because her role in Mallrats is probably one of the best. Like saying, the movie itself is one of the nerdiest movies you will ever see. It's got every single aspect of nerd culture represented and loved in that movie, and she is just, like I say, a delight. Everything that she does. I know she had a rough patch a few years ago, but she's always been like quite positive and. Again,
she's been very honest.
Yes.
She's been a very honest person. She's not hid behind things. She's owned up to her bullshit, whatever that may be. She owned it. Yeah. She owned up to it, and she's worked on it. She's dealt with it, and she's just been dealt a fucking horrible hand. Now, sad that she's gone.
Definitely sad. So to finish off.
Yeah, sorry to bring it down. It's just I wanted to acknowledge it, and we did on Monsters because on recording for Monsters, we had the news Shelley Duvall passed away, so I was like, oh, I'll bring this up here.
No, that's fine. So to finish off the movie, what would you rate this out of 5? The Fugitive.
Ooh.
So Goodwill, we'll go with you.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
It's a really, really good movie. Really, really good. It's not perfect by any means. But it is thoroughly enjoyable, suspenseful. I have seen it dozens of times, and every single time I still feel that suspension, that tension all the way through, because it is a movie, as we said earlier, it is a movie not about action, but about creating that tension, those passing looks, how close Kimball and Gerard get together, how he's able to evade and do certain things in the hospital. You know what I mean? It's all about that tension all the way through the movie. So it's a definite 4 out of 5 for me.
Cool. What about you, Sammy?
I'm going to go 5 out of 5. Because I just remember, even on second watch today, I remember how ecstatic. That's probably the best way to describe how ecstatic I was at this and how I felt afterwards. I felt like I was transported back to the 90s. Like, I didn't even have any thought in my head apart from, oh my God, this is such a good time.
No,
I'm absolutely loving this, and I just want to be on Tommy Lee's team. Please take me. I can be useful. I promise.
I'm going to side with Sammy on this one. Like if you asked me like 10 years ago, I would have probably said it wasn't for me. I didn't probably get that. I got it more watching it today, and I got more out of it today as well, and I absolutely loved it. It is the perfect example of a movie that is being done with such care and restraint. Yeah. I think the word restraint is probably the perfect way to describe this, because you could have went all out, all guns blazing, and overstacked the movie with a lot of things it didn't need. Where this one is perfectly paced. It's a long movie as well. So a lot of people don't realise, especially in the 90s, this was over a 2-hour movie, which we didn't get very often from the 80s and 90s, where it doesn't feel long. You're absolutely exhausted after you watch the movie because you're taken on the ride. And even though after you've watched it the first time, you think, oh, I don't think I'll watch it again because you know what's going to happen. You can, and it'll keep you on that tender hooks all the way through. And as, like say, we've worked out doing these ratings, I can only knock a film down if there's anything I would change in this movie. And I can't physically say there's anything I would take out or there's anything I would add to make this better. And then again, that's pretty big-headed to say I can change or make a film better. But as a consumer, like things I would like or want to see in the movie, it had literally everything. And I think the restraint aspect to it made us love it a little bit more as well.
Oh, I love that.
But yes.
That is sweet. My pizza is upgraded from where we were going to a Domino's.
All right.
Just to keep everyone
So we're
updated.
trying to get sponsored by Domino's now, so yes.
Let's do it.
give us a free pizza. We'll review your pizza online.
There's one 100 yards from my house, so yes, please sponsor us. My address is number 1. Yeah, go on.
So, what is happening this week, guys? So we'll go with Sammy first.
So tomorrow we're going to the Australian outback.
Love this movie.
We are heading into Wolf Creek, and we are going to be giving you a mic for the first time.
I love a movie that's based on true events.
Yeah, and we go into them true events. It's such a good episode because it's one of those where I'm figuring out, did I enjoy this or not?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see as I'm going along, kind of trying to get out how I felt, and it's like, hang on, did I like this? Did I not? I did. Spoilers. But yeah, tomorrow is Wolf's Creek. That's 8:00 on YouTube.
Cool. What have you got coming out? Your frosted tipped wonder.
I am on 4 podcasts a week.
All right, show off. Just because I started doing more than you, you're like, oh, I'm gonna add one more.
Yeah.
But how many
this
are
week
good?
Yes. This week
Sorry,
on Trekking Up North. Just let me review Murder, She Wrote, Paul.
Yeah.
This week on Trekking Up North, we are reviewing a Voyager episode, Body and Soul. It was going to be live.
Mm-hmm.
However, Science Officer Sonoy's has a very busy schedule, so we will be recording it on Tuesday. So that means all the memes that I have asked you to post in the Trekking memes section on the Discord channel, I will be collating my favourite ones on Tuesday, and they will be featured before we start the episode of Trekking Up North. So you'll see the top 10 memes on Friday night at 8 p.m.
Ooh, and
extra points for original creativity. So no copying.
Don't you start with me.
No David Hoping, shall we say.
Don't you start.
No hoping, please.
Next, and then for us next week, we are falling. Is there any actually additional ones coming out? No.
Well, I think on the Saturday.
Toons! Oh my gosh, sorry, yeah, I keep forgetting, and I shouldn't.
No, it's fine. Toons, we're doing Samurai Jack. There's 2 episodes.
And we'll be joining listening for that one,
which was quite an interesting one. Like I've never expected. Like I remember Samurai Jack, but I wasn't a big fan. But watching it back, it is an art form, and how they did this show. Then the Sunday. We were supposed to be doing this one, but now Goodwill's give us a better idea. We're doing Murder, She Wrote. No, we're not.
We're fucking not. We are falling in line with the movie. We're not doing Diagnosed Murder either.
We are.
We're not. We're doing Twister.
And it's not the Beatles song. Yes, we are doing the amazing action movie from the 90s again. Where, like, say, I can't remember the name. It's Bill Pullman. Not Bill Pullman. What's he called?
Paxman. Bill Paxman. You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Gets pissed and throws a whiskey bottle at a Twister.
It all falls in line with the fact that the new movie Twisters comes out that weekend. So I want to talk about the original.
Yes.
I was highly disappointed this was not about a lollipop, but go on.
No. Well, I could get you one. I could give you something to... No, I'm not going to make the joke.
No.
But yes. But to be fair, now you have got my brain thinking, if I can fit in or do a Diagnosis Murder or a Murder, She Wrote episodes at some point, it might be on the cards.
That would be interesting. Remember, though...
Yes.
Go on. No, what were you going to say?
Covered.
I was just going to say, remember, all the audio for this episode and the past week's episodes will be available on Tuesday. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes from Her Nerdy Up North.
And what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to task our listeners, our viewers, with a task. I like to make you busy because you're ungrateful swine yous are.
Oh, Ben.
Give us money.
Yes.
Feed me.
get us to Florida.
Give me food.
Not in teapots, in cash.
Yes.
Yeah. Hard cash.
Do you want to win something, nerds? Would you like to win something?
Who doesn't like to win something?
On Spotify, because I don't like using the Apple one, on Spotify, you can leave a 5-star review and a comment. For every 5-star review we get in the next month, so I'm going to end this in August. I'll put a post up in the group as well. But I'm going to put their names in a hat, and you can win not only a Nerdy Up North t-shirt, but a Nerdy Up North mug. So, if you do get on that Spotify, now the reason why I'm saying Spotify, to leave a review, you have to listen to the episode.
That's right.
So, to play devil's advocate and play fair as well, this is not just on the Nerdy Up North side. This is on the Trekking
You can
side.
pick any.
This is on the Monsters. So any episode that's on there, I will keep a record and I'll put your names in a hat and you will win a t-shirt and a mug.
And I can vouch. And I can vouch the mug is top-notch quality. Quality. I'm hungry. Top-notch quality.
I have a question.
Oh, go on.
What's Spotify?
I'll send you a link.
Do you know the posts that I tag you in each week?
I thought that was the cassette.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh
my goodness.
So is the mug used? Well, you're the mug, Chris. No.
I haven't got the chat open anymore, so I can't see. I'm too busy looking at the preparation of my pizza.
Yes. So
it's happening though.
Yes.
It's okay. It's all happening.
So that's where, like I say, I'll put the post in the group tomorrow. I'll put the competition terms and the end date as well. So please, because as we keep saying, any 5-star review, every comment, every like helps with the algorithm, and it might help a lonely nerd find us. Like we found
it might.
Hughes, we found a Goodwill, we found a Chris, we found a fucking Lee. But yes,
we can give Lee back though. That's the best part.
So the challenge has been set.
For the months from now in a month's time. I love that. But if you do go to iTunes and you do listen on there, you can leave a 5-star review.
Fuck you out.
And again, it does help the algorithm. It gets us picked up and put us into queues with other like-minded podcasts.
Yes.
But yeah.
Cool. So yes.
Awesome.
So anything else anyone wants to add there? I just want to say a big thank you to Captain Goodwill. I know he is the busiest man in nerdism, and I do appreciate, even though I dog him, he is like the son I always wanted. So I am like, I want to be your father figure, Goodwill. Like Goodwill,
you want to kiss me and mount me. This is very inbred.
Yes, well, it is. We're talking about Middlesbrough now, so it's fine. Or Teesside, red car.
You walked into that one.
Smell like the inside of my mum's purse.
And I know what your mum's purse smells like. Hi, Mammy Goodwill.
And on that note,
end it now.
So same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.